Hey everybody, so I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I'm going to share with you my children's favourite autumn books. There are 13 books in total. I have gathered these over the last few years. There's a lot that have been thrifted, there's a lot that I've bought. I'll make sure the links to all of them are down below if you're interested in adding any of these to your collection. I love rotating our books with the season. It's fantastic for me each season to change things around, move things on, and give me an excuse to kind of clean up the toys a bit as well as the book section. I also love having seasonal books because it teaches our kids so much about the season. As you'll see from the books I've picked out, there's something in each of them that explains a little different thing about the season, why we love it, what's difficult about it, and how we can get through that. Just encouraging a real love of the seasonal changes. So the first one is Thankful by Eileen Spinelli, illustrated by Archie Preston, and the illustrations are absolutely stunning. It's a really simple book that is all about thankfulness. It's kind of a little bit funny as well as just really simple. It shows how simple thankfulness can be, and it's a really important one that I'm always really excited to get out, which is probably why it's the first one I've shown you as well. The second one is Fletcher and the Falling Leaves by Julia Rawlinson, and the illustrations are by Tiffany Beak. Again, gorgeous illustrations. I'm such a sucker for gorgeous illustrations, but I really love this book for the story mostly because it deals with some pretty deep emotions. It talks about the changing of the seasons. It's about the leaves that are falling and how Fletcher just doesn't want them to disappear, and he's just really trying to hang on to them, and it's trying to explain through those emotions and what we can do to little ones, and I think that's so important. Next one is The Very Helpful Hedgehog by Rosie Wellesley. This is just really funny. My kids will ask for this one again and again and again. It's kind of about making friends. It's got some poetry in there. It is a really, really lovely, lovely book. I just love the ending of this story. It just makes me smile every time. I think this was the most requested book of last year, The Very Best Pumpkin, written by Mark Kimball Moulton and illustrated by Karen Hillard Good. It is such a sweet little story. It's about the very best pumpkin, and it's also about making friends. Look at these illustrations, they're so gorgeous. It's got all of the autumn colours in there, and it ends all happily and lovely, and I like its hopefulness as well as how it really inspires that richness of the season. The next one is a Brambley Hedge book. It's The Autumn Story, which is of course by Jill Barklam. The illustrations in these, you can't really beat them. There's so much detail. It's a good one if you've got slightly older children. My son really loves this. If you've never heard of the Brambley Hedge series, that's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Over the years, I've picked up a few books in charity shops, and this is one of them. It's called A Windy Day, and it's illustrated by Andrew Geeson. We actually reference this book quite a lot. It's about socks blowing off the washing line, and of course, in this country, we get a lot of windy days. So we really, really love this book. It's really funny. How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World. This is such a popular autumn book, and it took me a while to buy it. It was quite expensive for some reason at the time I was buying it. But oh my goodness, it's so absolutely worth it. Especially there's an apple pie recipe in the back of the book, but it's basically about where each ingredient comes from to make an apple pie. And so it's amazing that it talks about sourcing of ingredients, different countries around the world. It has so much depth in this book. It's by Marjorie Priceman. I didn't say that. The next one is the Winnie the Pooh weather book. As I spoke about with the Windy Day, we have a lot of different weather, especially during the autumn. And so this one is a sort of board book. It also has Lift the Flaps. My daughter is obsessed with Lift the Flap books. It just talks about the different seasons. And I think I've got quite a few different kind of seasonal changing weather books, but this is probably our favourite. I mean, you can't get better than Winnie the Pooh, can you? As for a bit of a longer book, this is The Jumble Bears by Molly Brett. Look at that. Oh, it's so, so beautiful. Great autumn story. It's a pretty long, detailed story. And so again, it's really good for like slightly older children. This one is a little bit controversial. This is Sweep by Louise Gregg and Julia Sada. It's quite a modern book. Modern storytelling is really interesting. I don't know, I think about 50% of the people that have read this to my children really like it, and 50% of the people are like, I didn't understand that. It's about not sweeping your emotions away and under the rug and making sure you talk about things, and talks about moods and mental health basically. I really, really like it. I think it's a fantastic book to even begin to talk about those things with small children and have it be part of the conversation. In the Rain with Baby Duck by Amy Hest and illustrated by Jill Barton, and the illustrations are so cute. This one came from a charity shop and I couldn't not pick it up, even if I was going to cut it apart maybe and put it in a journal. And then when we read it, we were just like, oh no, we have to keep this for like ever because it's so cute. It's a really lovely story about making sure you go out in the rain and how it's just important to make sure you've got your boots and your umbrella. For any children that maybe are going through a phase of not wanting to go out in the rain or a bit cranky, or it's been like weeks where you've just had rain, then that's a really great book for kind of romanticizing it and making it something that they want to do. Next one is The Year at Maple Hill Farm by Alice and Martin Provenson. It is, again, a season-changing book. It's got lovely details. It talks about all the different things that happen on a farm throughout the year, and it is a lovely way of explaining farming and where our food comes from. It's just really, really lovely, and there's quite a lot of detail in it. So the next one is Camille and the Sunflowers, which is by Lawrence Anholt. This is actually from a series of books which is talking about different artists and kind of putting children in the path of these artists. So this one is of course about Vincent van Gogh, and there's also one about Monet, which we have. There's other ones by Picasso, like with Picasso or Degas. They're all really lovely. It's a nice way of introducing fine art to children and kind of including them in the story and also making their art part of a story. The next one is Another Brambley Hedge. This is Wilfred to the Rescue. This is our absolute favourite Brambley Hedge book. Again, this is about it raining a lot. It has, again, gorgeous illustrations that just, they're so yummy. I mean, look at this. Wilfred is a hero, and we love any kind of book where there's a hero and he's helping people out. The last one is What Makes It Rain, which is an Usborne Lift the Flap book. We have a few Usborne Lift the Flap books. We've probably got about 6 or 7. This is a fantastic one, just talking about rain and lightning and sun and just all the different weather, how it works. And there are so many flaps, like so many. And it doesn't shy away from giving actual scientific answers to your questions. My son will spend ages on all these Usborne books, and my daughter will, even though she doesn't quite understand it yet. So there you go, those are our favourite autumn books. I hope there's a new one there for you to be inspired by, to add to your wish list, or to buy for someone as a gift. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!